Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing this is a video that I saw another YouTuber do, Morgan Turner. I will try and leave at least her name in the description. If I could only keep one eyeshadow palette from each brand. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If that sounds interesting, definitely stick around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and we're going to jump into my list. Okay, now this is not going to be every single brand ever because obviously I don't have palettes from every single brand. I chose brands that I had more than one palette from. I think I forgot to get one out. I'll do that. Actually, let me grab it. And then we'll jump into the list. Okay, so I saw Morgan Turner do this. I don't think I'm subscribed to her channel. It's a video that popped up in my feed. It sounded like an interesting concept, so we're just going to jump into the list. And I'm not going to go in any particular order. I have them piled here, so I'm just going to start from the top. And I do have some indie brands because I had multiple palettes from them, so they're not all like mainstream brands. So the first one would be Juvia's Place. I went with the Masquerade Mini. I was torn between this and the Tribe palette. The Tribe is their like green toned one. The Masquerade Mini, I've had this one for a long time. This is one that if I hit pan on any of these, I would probably repurchase the whole palette. This was really what got me into colorful shadows. I like, you've got, the two colorful rows, you've got the neutral row. So I ended up going with an oldie but a goodie, the Masquerade Mini. At one point I thought about purchasing the full size, but I'm glad I never did that because storing that would be a nightmare. Morphe. I did pick one for Morphe because I do have a couple of Morphe palettes. I did, what is this? The Boss Mood, the 35M. My friend Lauren bought this for me as a gift. I really, really like the mossy tones, like the cranberry tones. There's some purpley tones, some browns, some pretty golds. And the formula of this one, I think, is decent. It's one of Morphe's better palettes. Morphe palettes are very hit and miss. Some are better than others. This one, I think, is pretty decent, and it's only like 24 bucks, so it's a good, like, inexpensive palette. From Too Faced, I had a hard time with this. It was either this palette or their Anniversary palette, which everybody hates because it's ungodly long, but I went with My Pumpkin Spice. This was an QVC exclusive. I have the one from this past winter, and this is the one before it. I've talked about this palette a lot. It's just a basic neutral palette, but for some reason I really, really like this palette a lot. It, I think, was supposed to smell like pumpkin spice. It does not. Kind of has a vanilla-y smell to it, but I don't think it ever smelled like pumpkin spice. But again, it's nothing special. I don't know why I like this one. I like this one better than the one that came out this last year, but that one's still my favorite. ABH. I don't know if this counts because this is part of the Norvina line, but I went with the volume 3 over the traditional ABH palettes. I was going to pick Riviera, and then I remembered I had this one. And just the color selection, like we have all the neons, and I don't know. There are neutral shades in here. I just like this palette a lot. The formula is different from the normal ABH formula, but I don't mind it. You get more colors in here, so I think that's why I went with the volume 3. Jeffree Star, this one I'm sure is not going to be a surprise. I'm sure people that watch a lot of my videos are tired of me talking about the Alien palette, and I'm so sad that he discontinued this. I don't know why he discontinued this one because I think this is one of his best palettes. I have quite a few of them. I don't have every single palette, but I have a few. This one's my favorite. It's a neutral palette with color, but I love it. This is one where if something happened to this palette, I would probably have to pay an ungodly amount of money on Poshmark to replace it because I would need to replace it. And I'm so sad that he discontinued it because when I run out, that's it. She will be no more. And that makes me very, very sad because I do love this palette. with my whole heart. The packaging is bulky and dumb, but the shadows are so good. I don't know why it's discontinuing this. It's so good. Urban Decay, I went back and forth between this palette and actually the Game of Thrones palette. I own the Game of Thrones palette. This one's discontinued. This is the original electric palette. I just like it. It's just a classic. It's an oldie but a goodie. I got mine on Poshmark because I bought it after it had already been discontinued. So if you want this palette, you can still buy it used, but you can still get them. I don't know. I just like this one a lot. Like I said, my second choice was the Game of Thrones palette just because of the color selection that's in there. And I really like that palette. Again, it's another big bulky situation, but I do like the Game of Thrones palette. For Kat Von D, I only have two palettes. I have the Lolita and the Saint Center. I went with the Saint Center just because it's a larger palette and there's more color options. I need to use this one more. She looks like this. She's very, very pretty. Again, I need to use it more. So I went with this one. But I do like the Lolita palette a lot. Some people didn't, but I didn't have any problems with mine. Lime Crime. I have several Lime Crime palettes. I went with the Venus Immortalis. This is the newest palette of theirs to my collection. I just really like the shimmers in this one better. Lime Crime's shimmer formula is very lackluster for me. These two shimmers in here are really, really good, and I like these kind of grungy, gray, smoky tones. This palette, I think, got mixed reviews. People either liked it or they didn't. I didn't have any problems with mine. I used every shade in here, and I liked it. So that one, I've had the least amount of trouble. Like I said, the shimmers in the other one are just okay. They don't have my favorite shimmer formula, but the mattes are good. Dominique Cosmetics. I went with the Celestial Storm. Now, I haven't used this palette. I had the mini version from a BoxyCharm, and I bought the full-sized because I loved it that much. So I went with this one. Just the colors are so pretty, and it's a really good formula. So yeah, since I went out of my way to get the full-size palette, I figured that would be the one that I would pick. For ColourPop, I do have a few ColourPop palettes. Now, they don't have my favorite eyeshadow formula, but the palettes of theirs that I like, I do think are good. So I went with the Zodiac. I featured this gold shade in my drugstore glam tutorial that's already up on my channel. I just really, really like the shades in this palette, and the shimmers in this palette are really, really good. So this is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. So I went with the Zodiac. This was a Kathleen Lights collab. It's still available, I believe. Kaleidos. They are an indie brand. They have these little palettes. I have 4 of them. I think there's 5 total. This is the Astro Pink. This is probably my favorite color scheme out of the bunch. I don't know. I like the berry mauve tones with the pop of blue and the black. Their shimmer formula is unreal. I will swatch the blue and the pink. Like, their formula in general is unreal, but their shimmer formula, let me do the blue a little better because that, like, they're just so pretty. I don't know. They have a really, really good formula, and I like their palettes a lot. I did order the neon one, so I will have all of their palettes that are currently available. They had a larger palette for a while, and I never bought it, and I'm sad that it's not available anymore, and I'm waiting for them to come out with more palettes because their formula is really, really good. Huda Beauty. I only have their mini palettes. I've never bought any of their full size. They're just too expensive. Now, this is not my favorite out of the bunch, but this is my most used, and this is the Smoky Obsession palette. She's very dirty. Again, she is my most used. I travel with this palette. It's not my favorite. My favorite's probably either the Mauve or the Emerald Obsessions, but again, this is the one that I've used the most. So if I could only keep one, it would have to be this one. Like, she's very dirty because the shimmers in there are very soft and flaky, but she's a good one. I included the balm because I have quite a few balm palettes, and the one I decided I would keep would be the Meet Matchmaker. I like this little palette. I think I got this in a Tribe box like a year ago. I've traveled with this palette. Like, it's a really simple little like neutral palette, but the formula is really good, and I like all of the shades in here. This is one that I don't use enough. It's survived many declutters, but I do really like it. And then the last palette we're going to talk about is from Lunatic Cosmetics, and I went with my newest palette, which is Take My Heart. She looks like this. I really liked the look that I came up with, and I think out of all of them, this is the one that I would probably use the most. So I don't know. I just really like it. Some people don't like their formula. I like their eyeshadow formula, and their packaging's real fun. They do like the coffin-shaped palettes, and I wanted this one for like a year because it's shaped like a heart. But so yeah, those are the palettes of brands that I have multiple palettes of. Let me know what you thought of my choices. What palettes would you pick versus the ones that I picked? Let me know. Leave me those comments down below. And again, make sure you are subscribed, and hopefully I will see you all in another video very, very soon. Bye, everyone.